Hey everyone, Golden Ninja 3000 here again. Today I'm going to be improving the LEGO Thor Love and Thunder minifigures using some custom parts that I got from firestartoys.com. I did cover all of these pieces separately in my latest opening video, which you guys can watch now, but the overall goal here is to make these minifigures look a lot more detailed than LEGO made them. I got this Ravager Thor minifigure from Firestar Toys, and the goal of this video is to improve Mighty Thor with the use of printed arms, a new Mjolnir, and a face made just for her. I want to make Gorr look a lot better as well, because I really hate what LEGO did for him. So I've got a toga piece, I've got like a skirt piece, and I've got a hood for him, as well as some printed arms. And then lastly for Thor, I've got printed arms as well. But Thor is the minifigure I care about the least here. There's nothing for Korg and Valkyrie, but hey, I mean, I've got all the other Love and Thunder minifigures here, so I figured I might as well throw them in too. With the addition of the Firestar custom pieces, all of these minifigures look so much better. I'm really happy with how they turned out, and honestly, they've gone from being kind of weak minifigures to some of my favorite Marvel ones that I have in my collection, just because of like these printed arms and like different face prints. Gorr has definitely had the biggest increase in quality. I will be taking a look at each of these separately, and luckily, because if you buy both Thor Love and Thunder sets, you get duplicates of all the minifigures, I'll be able to do a direct comparison to what they looked like before. I included Ravager Thor here just because I want to give you guys an initial look at how far just a few pieces go in really improving the look of these LEGO minifigures. Obviously, with a custom figure like this that costs 25 pounds, so I think that's like 28 or 30 US dollars, that's a lot of money for one minifigure, and you definitely see it in terms of how good the prints are, in terms of the side leg printing and arm printing. But again, like the custom arms for Jane and Thor, I think they cost like maybe 3 or 4 pounds a piece, so about $5 each. And again, yes, objectively, that is kind of a high price for just a pair of printed arms, but look at how much better they make the figure look. It's not a $30 figure like Thor, but just like those $5 pieces make it look so much better. And of course, if LEGO was the one doing the arm printing, you wouldn't be paying $5 more like per set for printed arms. So I don't know, it's just pieces like this really just prove to me how much more LEGO should be doing with their minifigures. We'll start with Thor because I care about him the least and he got the least amount of upgrades. He just has these printed arms. And I said before in my Firestar opening that I do not like the bicep print. To me, that's verging on too detailed. I just think that bicep printing is kind of unnecessary, and I really don't like it on the Ravager Thor minifigure because he has like all these weird like forearm prints that I just think look really bad. But it doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would on the final figure. I still think it's unnecessary. I still would have been just fine with the gauntlets being printed, but I thought that like I wouldn't like these arms because of the bicep print, and I'm glad that that's not the case. I do think it makes this minifigure look a lot better. Here for comparison is the regular Thor that I have from another Love and Thunder set, and there was nothing wrong with this figure. I didn't think he needed arm printing, but the addition of arm printing definitely makes it look like 10 times better. Gorr has probably been updated the most, but I'm saving my favorite for last, so we're going to look at him second. I like this figure so much more now. I thought that the original minifigure was very, very boring. I mean, I liked the torso print. I didn't mind the head print that much, but I mean, the head print is not very exciting. I really think that, like, kind of a more stern expression would have been better because Gorr did gleefully smile like this in the movie, but he was much more, like, creepy and stoic-faced for most of it. So, I don't know. I think a different face print would, like, make this even better. And if LEGO had done this, they could have given us an alternate face print, but instead he does have like some printing on his back. So first things first, I think that the addition of the printed arms makes him look a lot better. Gorr was sleeveless in the movie. LEGO did not give him, like gray arms, but I think that that was the right choice because when I looked at this minifigure without the hood, without the toga, without the skirt, when it was just the printed arms on like this kind of format, it looked really weird. I think to make the printed arms work, you really need some kind of cloth to distract from how like awkward it looks otherwise. I got tired of holding the other Gorr up, so I'm going to put them both on the minifigure like rotating stand here. I did get like one of these dirty skirt pieces for Gorr as well, and I was also unsure about that until I put the toga on. I was also unsure about the toga, to be fair. I thought that it might be a little bit too much, but I think it looks perfect on Gorr. The one issue It's just that it's a little bit lighter compared to the color of the plastic. I would love if they were exactly the same shade, but obviously it's harder to match cloth to plastic than it is plastic to plastic. So I think that that looks pretty decent. One thing about these togas from Firestar is that A, I couldn't figure out how to put it on at first, and then B, they crease really, really fast. Like if you think Legos, like stiff cloth pieces crease fast, you haven't seen anything yet, because I was afraid to like keep putting this, to keep like taking this off and putting it back on, because I was worried about how much it would crease just during that motion. So I really like the addition of the toga. I also like the white hood a lot, but you can take it off and I still think that Gorr looks pretty decent. Personally, I will be displaying him with the hood on, because I think hood off but toga on makes him look a little bit too like wrapped up in like sheets of cloth. So I think I will go ahead and keep the hood on in my display, but there is like one other option for this figure. I'm just noticing that this guy has a misprinted head. Like the pupil in the left eye is not like as clear as it should be. So that's kind of disappointing. I think I'll be swapping out the heads. But this is an option. You could have hood on and just like the skirt kind of look. Again, because that covers up the shoulders a little bit, I think that that looks decent. The one thing about the skirt, though, is that it has lighter lines than like Gorr's print does. Gorr has very thick black lines he used in his printing from Lego. So having thin gray ones here, I think just kind of throws it off a little bit. But you could also take off the hood and display him like this. I think this looks weird. I don't like this. I don't like this skirt with the bare arms look. But, I mean, I guess you could also try his legs, which I've tucked away into a corner over here. So that's what he looks like with the legs and the bare arms. And like I said, I just don't think that works. It looks okay, but without anything to cover up the shoulders, I just think it looks a little bit odd. You could put the hood on this. Again, not a bad look, but once the hood goes on, like that's when I want the skirt. So it's kind of a weird balancing act. You guys can decide what you like better, but for me, I like him with everything on. Here is the toga with the legs and no hood look. Again, I think that this is just a little bit weird, so I'm going to go ahead and put the hood on. There's a lot of different combinations that you can get here, but again, I do not like this as much as I do the look with the skirt. I just think the legs look strange once you have this much cloth in play. And you can position the toga like the other way as well. Instead of having it wrap around the left arm, you can have it wrap around the right arm. And I think that's actually the way that you're supposed to do it. But I feel like it going to the left looks better because I feel that that's more how Gorr was wrapped in the movie. Last variation, this is Gorr with the toga wrapping side switched. Again, I think that that's how the piece is supposed to work, so it flows a little bit better, but I like it less because I think Gorr should be wielding the Necro Sword with his right hand, and so this does restrict movement a little bit. And again, like I said, it looked like from his character poster that there was like more wrapping like behind his left arm, but I also haven't seen the movie in a little bit. I might watch it again and like see which way his like cloth wraps around him. And finally, here is Mighty Thor, and I think that this minifigure, I mean, Gorr looked pretty good, but this one just becomes perfect for me with the addition of the Firestar pieces. We have a printed Mjolnir. That would have been great to see from Lego. I didn't necessarily expect them to do it, but I really think they should have since they've printed on this piece before. This isn't perfect. I'd like it to be a little bit darker because the hammer in the movie is darker and the cracks were like kind of dark. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, and I think that that looks pretty good. I love the arm print. I really like that she's got the armband on this side, just like the movie, and then the other side is just gauntlets. She does have that bicep print as well, which I don't love, but I mean, it's not that bad. Like, it's okay. I think that it looks better on her than it does on Thor. And then, of course, we have the new Natalie Portman face from Firestar Toys, which is dead on. Like, these are very similar expressions to the faces that Lego uses, which actually, let me grab my Mighty Thor minifigure. So yeah, like, these are very similar faces. These are very similar faces. But the difference is that this is a generic Star Wars face, and this was made to look like Natalie Portman. And I think it really does. Capturing actors' likenesses in Lego form can be difficult, but to me, this face especially is just spot on. I took the liberty of pulling a hairpiece for her. This is probably my favorite hairpiece for female Lego minifigures, and it works perfectly for Mighty Thor's hairstyle when she's in costume. So I really like this. The color isn't perfect. Honestly, it should be like more of this tan color that they use on her helmet, because her hair is like a light brown going into blonde at the tips in the movie. and this is like a medium nougat color, but Lego only makes this like hairpiece, like the only colors that would work that this hairpiece comes in are like bright light yellow or this nougat color, and this definitely is more accurate than like that super yellowy blonde. To me, this is kind of like the best look of the minifigure. I really like having her hair down with this face because it looks just like one of those promotional images that they released from the movie where I thought Mighty Thor just looked really, really awesome. So I do think I might display her like this. I love the helmet, don't get me wrong. Like, this is one of my favorite hair helmet combo pieces that Lego has ever made. But it does just cover up so much of her face. Like, even with the beauty mark, like when you put the helmet on, it just does come like straight down over that. Yeah, like you can't even see it if you tilt it back. So again, like the look underneath the helmet, it's not drastically different, but I think like it is significant. Like even like just seeing the smile under there, on the old figure, like you can definitely see a difference. Again, it's slight, but the new one is just worlds better than the old one. So here's a more direct comparison. Again, the new face print is just so much better. I think the eyelashes were very extreme on this one. I believe that's a Star Wars face print. They use it for Black Widow, and I think it originated with Jyn Erso. So yeah, I mean, they could have at least used Padme's face print from Star Wars because at least that's Natalie Portman as well. But just like with Thor, the printed arms aren't something I necessarily like wanted Lego to do, but it really levels up the figure. The main thing that I wanted from Lego for a Mighty Thor minifigure was a helmet, which they gave us, leg printing, which they gave us, and a new head. And they didn't give us that. They never give us new heads with Marvel minifigures, but that's why to me the Firestar editions just make this the perfect minifigure. Alright, well that about wraps up this video. Thanks for sticking around and seeing how I wanted to change up my Love and Thunder minifigures. Let me know which one is your favorite in the comments below. And don't forget, if you're going to buy any of these parts from firestartoys.com, use my share code FSVAYL. You will get 10% off your order and I'll get points as well. And I use those points to keep buying pieces like this and making videos on them. I really love Firestar Toys. I know that sometimes I sound in these videos like they're paying me to say this stuff, but they really are not. I just think that they're a great company, and I really like how close to Lego their design language sticks. So yeah, I'm very happy with my Love and Thunder minifigures now, and honestly, I didn't think that they could be improved this much, and I'm really glad that Firestar proved me wrong. That's it for today. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and check out my website, goldenninja3000.com. I will see you guys with more videos soon. Bye for now.